What's up, guys? I wanted to come on this afternoon for an episode of Afternoon Smoke. I smoke a Bocock Brothers cigar, and we talk a little bit of football. What do you say? Less than 3 weeks, guys, until LSU. Let's see if anybody's got any questions at all. Maybe load them up in the chat. Let us know what you got. Again, Afternoon Smoke brought to you by Bocock Brothers Cigars. You can find those guys. They're in Cigar Den. They're at Churchill's. They're at Havana Port off of Perkins Road. Great guys. They're LSU grads. So appreciate those guys for always helping us out and sponsoring us. Let us know if you can see us in the some video problems last time we tried to do this outside, but it's actually not bad right now out here. But I want to talk a little bit about LSU football, because I know there's been some questions about fall camp and things like that. We have a guy out there doing some videos, trying to help us get some content out there for everybody. But so far, I'm very, very pleased with defensively. I think our improvement from 2020 to 2020 to 2021 is going to be night and day. And I it's weird. I heard Cade York talking about some of the problems in 2020. He even mentioned the racial divide. And I think that was from the coaching staff. I hadn't heard anybody really talk about that. I'd heard some whispers of that last year, obviously, as some issues for the disconnect that you can see was so obvious. But there was a big time one with, Bo Pelini, Bill Bush, some of those guys that just weren't connecting with the players. And I think it all started from the very beginning of the year. I don't think Coach O handled it very well. It sounds like all that's taken care of itself. So I think last year we were having so many issues with COVID and the loss of all these guys after 2019, plus all this other background stuff that nobody really knew the answer to. Now all that's kind of gotten fixed. You got Durante Jones in. I think it's going to be a good one. So anybody's got any questions in the chat, hit me up. I got it loaded right here. I want to kind of talk some ball for a little bit while I smoke this cigar outside. Who's going to UCLA? Anybody? The dog barking. I got an old fashioned right here. I do think, speaking of defense, I think the defense is going to be on the 2019 level. And that defense wasn't like the best in the world, but they could make stops when they needed to. And our offense was so powerful, obviously. But I think our defense is at that level already. For 2021, I think it's going to be close to the 2019 defense. You're going to have tons of skilled guys in the back, of course, for your corners. But then safety, I really like Jay Ward as the free safety, and maybe a guy like Major Burns, or flip them, however you want to do them with the safeties. But I like those guys, athletic safeties. I like Jay Ward being a safety that can cover. I think I made this comparison on the last podcast, I think, whereas I remember the Saints after 2005, they had that Katrina year, and Sean Payton takes over and Drew Brees comes in, and I remember thinking that draft before they came on, where we took Reggie Bush, like, our positions of need, we needed every position. Like, the Saints needed every position. And then after 2006, you had great draft. You had all these free agents come in, and you looked at the next draft, which was the 2006 draft or 2007 draft. I don't know how we didn't even equate that. But you look at that draft, and you're like, we don't need anybody anymore. We have no positions of need. I think about that with LSU right now. Like after this past season, you were just like, oh my God, you know, defense is just a nightmare. We're short guys. Offensive line's an issue, which that I think you would probably still consider the offensive line being the one position where you're not quite sure about yet. Everywhere else, we just got studs everywhere. Even running back right now, you got TDP and John Emery, but then you have two really solid freshmen behind those guys. I really like Armani Goodwin and Corey Kiner in this offense. A Pete style offense that's molded under a Joe Brady. You just remember Clyde and what he did. I think that's a lot to it. Wide receiver, we're so deep. You need a couple of those guys just to step up and just out. Hearing a lot about Brian Thomas and Chris Hilton, obviously. So those are some guys that are going to make some big impacts immediately. My guy, I think, is still John Trey Kirkland. I think he's going to step up and be the second guy, especially early in the season. Waiting for some of these guys to kind of catch on, kind of like how Kayshon Boutte last year. Same thing. Like he needed about half the season, and then he kind of just took over, especially after Terrace left. Offensive line, though, I think we're in good shape, man. People want to be gloom and doom about the offensive line, and especially after they hear the defense dominated. But man, we're returning everybody, and you can say Derek Rosenthal thing is a lost guy, but really, Cam Wire started more games than Dare did, so I think you still got a whole lot of experience. Plus, I still think you're about too deep on the offensive line right now, which we haven't really been that way in a while. I think Brad Davis coming in is going to shore up all that kind of crap. I think it sounded like what's his name? The guy who just left, this offensive line coach. I can't believe I can't remember his name because I would shit on him all last year. But he was on the hot seat anyway. And I think after the whole, God, what was the guy's name? The kid that went to Clemson that we thought we were going to get. Tristan Lee. After the Tristan Lee stuff, I think that was the last straw when not only did he lose him, but also it came up with like some NCAAs. We just said, we can get somebody better than you anyway. So here comes Brad Davis already kicking some rocks around, I think. And I think he's a better on-field probably coach than old boy was anyway. So I like all of the additions that we made on the coaching staff, all of them. Jake Peetz, I heard somebody talking about, Peetz and Jones, Durante Jones, neither one of them has called plays before. So that's going to be I'm going to wait and see on that one. And I'm like, dude, you think this is going to be worse than last year? Like, you remember how bad it was last year? I think there's going to be many times this year I'm going to say, do you remember how terrible we were last year? Like, it was bad. Everybody wants to forget about it. Nobody wants to talk about 2020, but it was bad. It's going to be light years better. Even offensively. I'm all in on Peetz, man. Peetz and Mangus, I'm all in on it, bro. So we'll see. Again, Afternoon Smoke brought to you by Bocock Brothers Cigars. Go check these guys out. They're fantastic guys. LSU grads. What else we got going on, guys? Also, let us know if you can see us in the see the video, by the way. Jack Bech, I just posted a video of him looking solid. I love him as a tight end option. I love him split out wide, matched up against linebackers and safeties. I think it's going to be a whole new dimension that we didn't have last year. You had it with Thad Moss, kind of lost it last year. I think our defense was so poor last year that offensively we were just under the gun all the time. We had to score like crazy just to make up for our defense. I think everything is going to change this year with that. Anyway, thoughts. Let's see. Other position groups. Quarterback, obviously, I love Max. He was going to be the starter, even if Miles got hurt. Also, I really like Garrett Nussmeier. I think Nuss is going to be the Garrett Nussmeier Walker Howard quarterback battle, guys, is going to be epic. And that Garrett is getting like all these extra snaps now. It's going to make it a very good competition. And I was talking to somebody recently on our One Team One podcast staff actually about if Max stays all the way through to a senior year, will Garrett Nussmeier / Walker Howard take him over by the time he ends here? And it was an emphatic yes. So take that for what it's worth. That these guys are going to take over the starting job, whether Max is here or not. That's eye-opening. I know that's years down the line, but Max is our guy, obviously, this year. There's no competition with that. But Sam's in the chat. What's up, Sam? So yeah, we had a question got asked. Josh Sibley's been great helping us out with some of the content that we're putting out there, and he goes to the practices and he goes to the press conferences, and he asked a question for us the other day about there was some questions on if now that Max is hurt, if Max was going to get reduced amount of carries just to help him out on the injury side of things. And I think the answer that Ogeron said was there's not going to be any designed racks, but there won't be any limitations to the RPO game. So no design runs, but the option for him running is still wide open and is unlimited. And I loved hearing that answer. I don't believe one iota that they're going to hold back at all on the offensive game plan. I don't think there was a whole lot of run designs for the quarterback anyway, but RPOs was going to be the main part of the offense, and I don't want to see them give that up at all. Here's Tony Williams. I don't think Max will stay past his junior year anyway. We'll probably see his NFL potential after this season. Possibly. We just need to see it, man. Like I believe in Max. Here's what I love about Max. I think he's got a decent arm. Not as strong as Miles, but